My next guest on the One-on-One series is a very interesting gentleman. He's the Managing Director and Senior Vice President of MRI Software for the Asia Pacific region. And they are on an acquisition path that is going to disrupt and enhance the real estate space. It's my very great pleasure to introduce you to David Bowie. So David, it's a very exciting time for MRI Software at the moment. Well, really, for the last 2 years, I think you've acquired 4 companies, Is it? And there's another one on the table.
Correct, Paul. I mean, very exciting news. Just last week, we announced an agreement with the board of PropTech Group and our board to proceed with an acquisition. That's still subject to regulatory approval.
PropTech Group, that's a big company.
It's a big company, and they're a great company, great reputation. It's something we've been doing as part of our strategy as we listen to clients to fill a gap in the market, and it fits in that category. When we look at companies to buy, we're looking at what's the market need, what do our clients need, what do agencies need, and the way we talk about innovation, and to me, innovation is about reducing time to value. The time at which an agency can receive value from the investment in technology. And there's three ways we do that. The first is by building technology ourselves. The second is by partnering with some of the amazing prop techs that are out there in the industry, and we call that an open and connected approach. And the third is to acquire companies that we think fill a particular gap.
Let me ask you this, David. Often this applies to all of us, but particularly agents with prop tech. How do they know what they don't know? Like you're walking down the Aldi aisle, go to Aldi, and they've got all those specials down there, and you see these things that you didn't realise that you really needed. How do you manage that in your world?
It's important. It's easy to get distracted by the shiny toy. I think it's really important to understand what's the problem you're trying to solve.
Yes.
And how does technology enable that? The trap is if you buy all the shiny toys, then you've got to join them together to deliver an end-to-end service. And that's where it can get complicated. And certainly our approach, I referred earlier to our open and connected ecosystem. We've got connections with something like 200 plus different providers in the marketplace to try and do that joining together so that it can deliver that end-to-end capability. So you really got to look at the capability in the context of the business problem you're trying to solve and what you've already got in place to make sure it all fits in smoothly.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So that's something you've got to get out of the customer, because they don't know often that you've got something that's going to do something that is going to enhance their business. So they didn't even know it was around. They didn't understand, didn't know it was there. Okay, so that's challenging, I'm sure.
Well, listen, it is, and you've got to stay informed around what some of the emerging expectations are. I mentioned, also that survey with 78% of people transacting in the last 10 years, 65% wanting to deal with one agency. Literally and metaphorically, and I think being aware of those emerging business trends and change in consumer expectations, to keep up with that.
So, David, if an agent is new to the business, whether young or older, whoever, male or female, it doesn't matter, where do they start with technology?
Well, listen, Paul, I think the first thing is to know where you're going as a business, what your ambitions are, and I think for an agency that wants to deliver, sales capabilities plus, property management, looking at how do I bring it all together into one ecosystem from day one is important, rather than going and creating a patchwork quilt from day one. So I think, a business has a fresh start today. There's a lot of options in the marketplace. There's a lot of capabilities there to tap into. So I think take a bit of a forward-looking view, because you can start afresh. And I think that's great advantage, and in fact great opportunity for anyone starting out today.
Yeah. So they're not behind the 8 ball from the beginning, are they, really?
Correct.
So you've got to learn from the agents what they need. So you've got to be very up to date with that, because that's changing all the time.
It is.
Wow. So you're really providing a fabulous service to agents.
We certainly aim to, that's
I believe
for sure,
so, Okay, so you've spoken about gaps in the market. and trends that you're seeing. So this is, I guess, what you think's coming next. Did you want to expand anything on that?
Yeah, well, I think it is along the lines of what we heard from those surveys that sort of says, a person in the ecosystem wants to deal with someone over the life cycle of their journey with property, and we believe the data that exists around delivering a better service can help enhance that partnership, and that's what we're really trying to bring together, a simplified technology ecosystem that serves a purpose, no matter whether you're buying, selling, renting, whatever it is, servicing a property, to deliver that capability.
Yeah, so the agent can service whatever needs the vendor of a property may have, whether they want to sell it, rent, or whatever they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fantastic. Yep. How do prop tech vendors like MRI stay connected with the agencies in their tech? I know you just touched on that. Is there any sort of specific methodology with that?
At many levels, we try and make sure we understand what is going on. So at the principal level, at the business owner level, we have advisory boards that advise us around what are the current, and we share best practices around what are the current industry trends, what are the challenges, how do we service those. So at that one level, making sure at a principal level we can service that. But it also cuts down to users and to other stakeholders in the system to make sure we're seeing how they're using technology, what's working, what's not. So we are constantly developing our products to serve what the users want. And we have a philosophy for our product teams, our product strategy guys, loosely called, get out of the building, go and talk to clients. So rather than us thinking we've got great ideas, we want to hear what problems our clients are trying to solve.
I think that's very important, David. Talking to the user, sometimes, often, agents ask me, they say, which is the best CRM system? And I say, well, it's very simple. It's the one you're going to use.
Yeah, right.
So, if they're not comfortable with it, they're not attracted to it, if it's not easy to use, that's not the right one for them.
Yeah, correct.
So listening to them, I think, is so important.
Yeah, and realising actually bringing people to be able to on the change journey is also important, because, you never want to change systems unless you're going to get that lift in value.
MRI Software is an incredibly progressive company. That's abundantly obvious to everybody, and particularly in recent times. So, can you give us a little glimpse into 2023? Have you got any surprises for us?
Oh, listen, I don't think there'll be any surprise. I mean, we'll continue to evolve.
Yes.
There's three things we're building our business on. The first is giving people a platform to run their business.
Right.
The data that helps a business owner run a successful business.
Right.
The second thing is then the applications that serve the various different needs of an agency, be it buying, selling, managing a property.
Yes.
So the specific applications that sit on top of that platform.
Yep.
And the third thing is, we want to be a partner with integrity and trust that the industry can rely on when things are good and when things are not good, to be there for them. So we want to build that relationship with our client base and that reputation as a player with integrity and a focus on value add. That's not hopefully a surprise, but it's something
I was going to say you're already doing that. I think from my
my
experience of your organisation over the last 2 years, we've been very impressed with the way you've approached things.
We appreciate that.
And we're very comfortable to recommend your services to people that ask us for those reasons.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
No, I really mean that. David, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really interesting talking to you, and you work in the real estate world, but in a different segment of it. And so it's fascinating for us as agents to understand where you're coming from and where you're going.
Good on you. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.